President Cyril Ramaphosa has received the interim report of the Madlanga Commission, which is investigating alleged corruption and political interference in South Africa's criminal justice system. The presidency says the president expects the commission to refer any matters that appear criminal for prosecution. Since September, the inquiry has heard testimony from 37 witnesses and reviewed thousands of pages of evidence. The commission is now preparing for further hearings as the investigation continues. DRDGold says a planned strike at its Ergo operation on the East Rand has been suspended. This will allow for operations to continue, but the wage dispute remains unresolved. Unions members from NUM and AMCU were set to down tools this morning. That's as they want a 12% wage increase for all workers, along with additional profit-sharing benefits. DRD says this demand is more than 3 times the current inflation rate. The miner has offered guaranteed annual wage increases of between 6 and 7.5% over the next 5 years, while keeping its existing profit-sharing scheme in place. DRD has stated that it's still open to further engagement and has contingency plans in place, but the firm has warned that if the strike proceeds, daily processing could drop significantly. Nedbank has completed the sale of its 21.2% stake in Ecobank, marking a strategic shift away from West Africa. The bank sold the holding for $100 million after receiving final regulatory approvals. Nedbank says the disposal will reduce basic earnings per share by at least 20% for the year due to one-off foreign exchange and fair value losses, but will not affect headline earnings. The group says it is now refocusing on Southern Africa and fast-growing East African markets, while remaining on track to meet its return targets for the year. Energy company Renergen will be delisted from the JSE on the 12th of January. This follows regulatory approval of its takeover by US-based ASP Isotopes. Trading in Renergen shares will be suspended from December 30th, after which shareholders will receive shares in ASP instead. ASP will begin trading on the JSE at the end of December, becoming the only listed entity after the deal. Renergen will then exit public markets entirely. A legal battle involving billionaire Patrice Motsepe's investment firm, African Rainbow Capital, is now before South Africa's High Court. ARC wants the court to rule that it cannot be held liable in a multi-billion rand lawsuit currently underway in Tanzania, brought by a US-based company called Bula Group. ARC's lawyers argue the disputed agreement was signed in Johannesburg, giving South African courts the power to intervene if the Tanzanian ruling is unfair. Bula Group, however, insists South African courts have no authority in the matter. South African companies are facing a sharp rise in cybercrime, with businesses hit by more than 1,800 attacks every week. That's according to cybersecurity firm Checkpoint. It says attacks are being driven by ransomware and the growing misuse of artificial intelligence. Government, financial services, and consumer businesses are the hardest hit. Checkpoint warns that while companies are still learning how to use AI, criminals are already using it to launch faster and more sophisticated attacks, raising the risk of data breaches and financial losses.